Hi, my name is Nick Lamb. Today I'm going to talk to you about the value that financial advisors add. It's approximately 3%. At the end of this video, I hope it's clear that we actually cannot afford to not have financial advisors. First, I'm going to jump to a couple slides to visually outline what we're going to talk about. There's 8 ways that advisors add value. We have asset allocation, cost-effective implementation, rebalancing, behavioral coaching, asset location, spending strategies, total return versus income investing, and the intangibles. They all add up to about 3%. And everything we're discussing today is based upon a Vanguard study published in 2014. So if you want to see the actual study, send me an email and I'm happy to send it along. And real quick, I want to talk about this BPS. It means basis points. It's industry speak. So if I say 30 basis points, that means 0.3%. If I say 150 basis points, that means 1.5%. So the next slide, basically, it's going to illustrate the difference between getting that 7% return and the 10% return, which in theory could be the difference between going with an advisor and not. So if you start out with a portfolio of $100,000, in 30 years, you're going to have $1.7 million if you have 10% returns. If you only get 7% returns, that $100,000 portfolio is only $760,000. So the difference is real. The difference is retiring very comfortably, vacationing, not having a care in the world, or not being able to retire at all, or having to scrimp to get by. All right, enough with the slides. Let's get back to my ugly bug. So the first area that a financial advisor will add value is asset location. This is really hard to quantify, but it's the most important determinant of returns. This is where the advisor learns about you, your family, what your desires, what your goals are. And that's where they're going to determine how the assets are actually allocated across the different asset classes. Number 2 is cost-effective implementation. Here you're going to get 45 basis points annually. Advisors have access to and knowledge of the entire investment universe, and they're going to find the lowest cost funds for you to be invested in. And this value add has nothing to do with market performance. It's very simple. When you pay less fees, you keep more, which is good for you. Number 3 is rebalancing. Here you're going to get up to 35 basis points. Higher risk assets, i.e. stocks, are going to typically outperform bonds, which are the lower risk assets. But as your stocks outperform bonds, your stocks will have a higher proportion of your overall portfolio, i.e. increasing the risk of your portfolio, which is not good for your investment strategy. It leaves you open to larger drawdowns than your risk appetite should allow. And rebalancing can be counterintuitive. Essentially, you're selling your higher performing assets to reallocate to the ones that have returned less. It doesn't make sense intuitively, but dollars to donuts, it makes sense. And that's what a financial advisor will explain to you and make you fully understand and make sure that you're actually sticking to your strategy long term. And rebalancing isn't free. You need to do it cost effectively. There's taxes involved, there's transaction costs, and that's all things that a good financial advisor will take care of for you and make sure is minimized. Number 4 is behavioral coaching. Here you're going to get 150 basis points and could be much, much bigger. Investing evokes emotion, pure and simple. Advisors can help you maintain a cool head and make sure that you keep a long-term perspective and really stay disciplined in your investing. For example, you had pulled out all of your money in 2009 when the shit hit the fan. You would have missed out on the subsequent massive bull market in the next 10 years, and that is financially devastating. Whereas if you had just stayed put, waited out the 10-year bull market, you'd have more money today than you had 10 years ago, and that's really the goal here. Number 5 is asset location. Here you're going to get 75 basis points. So here it might get kind of confusing, but that's why we have financial advisors. So most investors have taxable and non-taxable accounts. Typically, you're going to hold tax-efficient equity investments in your taxable account, and you're going to hold taxable bonds in your tax-advantaged account. In some instances, it makes sense to have tax-inefficient equities, and they should be in the tax-advantaged accounts. I know this is confusing, but there's not enough time in this video to get into the detail, but it's all things that a financial advisor will help you manage. Number 6 is withdrawal order, basically how you spend from your portfolio. And this alone could be the entire value proposition for a financial advisor. Here you're going to get 70 basis points. So people have multiple account types. You have your taxable, your tax exempt, your tax deferred. Advisors will minimize taxes on their client's portfolio by spending in the following order. You're going to take your required minimum distributions, which is common after 70 and a half. your cash flows on the assets that are held in your taxable accounts. You're going to spend that money first, and then you're going to start spending from your taxable assets, and then you're going to finally touch your tax advantage assets. In short, you want your assets to grow tax advantaged as long as possible. And these are all things that seem complicated, but an advisor can spell them out for you in a very simple way to make sure that you take advantage of the existing tax laws to make sure your portfolio lasts as long as possible. And number 7 is total return versus income-only investing. With the low interest rate environment, people are drawn to high-yield bonds or dividend-paying stocks as they don't want to spend the principal from the portfolio and just want to live off the income being produced. While this seems to make sense, it really does not. First of all, high-yield bonds are extremely risky and are not suitable for most investors to have a large proportion of high yield in their portfolio. Second, dividend-paying stocks will not get the capital appreciation that you need to make sure your portfolio lasts for the long term. There's a proper mix and balance that you need to have based upon your own risk parameters and your future goals. Number 8 is the intangibles. Of course, you can't measure these because they're intangible. But it's basically peace of mind. Knowing that if the unthinkable happens, you already have a deep relationship with a financial advisor that knows you, knows your wife, knows your family, knows your kids, knows your goals. So if something were to happen, the transition would be seamless. And this is someone that you can call with questions at any time, day or night, and they're going to help you through some of the most challenging financial decisions in your life. All right, we're going to go back to the summary slide to give you a visual of what we just discussed. So here's the summary slide that we saw earlier in the presentation. There's 8 ways that advisors provide value. It's up to 3%, and actually I argue that it's much higher than that. I hope it's clear that we actually cannot afford to go through life without a financial advisor if we want to achieve our financial goals. I work very closely with the most sophisticated wealth management team at Merrill Lynch. If you want to be introduced, please email me and I'm happy to do that. As always, email me with any comments, questions, concerns. Please comment below and join our channel for further videos on investing and creating wealth. See you soon.